Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Welcome back. Joining me now is Leanne McAdoo, and we're here to talk about what's going on with Facebook. Are they really honestly portraying the trending stories, or are they rigging it? You know, we're told, Leanne, that, or at least we're left with the impression, this is something's being done honestly, without the intervention of humans, maybe, implied that it's being done by an algorithm, and yet whistleblowers are telling us that's not what happened at all, right?
Right, absolutely. And this is no surprise to us. We've been talking for years about our articles being suppressed. People are trying to share some Infowars articles on Facebook, and they're not able to, or someone will post something anti-Hillary Clinton, and Facebook will determine that it's violates their terms of service. Meanwhile, you can keep a Assassinate Donald Trump page up there, and it's completely fine. No violation of service. Well, now we do have some former Facebook workers. They were all employed as contractors, and they came out saying we routinely suppressed conservative news. And it was all just willy-nilly based on whoever was on the shift that day. If they felt like something was newsworthy, they could inject it into the trending news. Or if it was...
It didn't have to be trending. According to the algorithms, they could take a story that they wanted to promote and stick it in there, a story that was trending that they didn't agree with. They could pull out. And of course, Zuckerberg has been very outspoken about his globalist beliefs and attacking Donald Trump and many other issues that he's very outspoken about. So it's not a surprise that they would do this.
Right. And we've seen this kind of across the board, whereas you speak with algorithm, we know that Google's algorithm is so important, it can crush companies entirely. And it's the same with them. It's not just some arbitrary algorithm. There are actually people in there that you can call and say, hey, what's going on here? Same with Facebook. And so they have omitted conservative topics from their trending list. Meanwhile, they made the Black Lives Matter movement trend by inserting it into the newsfeed because it wasn't trending, and people were saying, well, hey, this is really important. You should make this go viral. And so they did. And then, of course, you hear in the media how powerful Black Lives Matter is in social media, but it's not, because the whole system is rigged because it suits a certain agenda.
And even before this broke with the whistleblowers, we'd seen indications that, of course, this was going on. You had in the question and answer periods, it was put in there, hey, should we spike Trump or should we attack Trump? What should we do to take this guy down as one of the questions? And
they had I guess they do like an inter-office poll there every single week, and that was one of their actual polls that they have between the employees. It said, specifically, what responsibility does Facebook have to help prevent President Trump in 2017?
Responsibility.
That's their responsibility that they have as this business who is trying to put themselves out there as this non-biased news aggregator. Come to Facebook.
That's the problem I have, is that when people put themselves out there as being non-biased, you have to understand that either they're not being honest with themselves about their own biases, or they're being very dishonest with you, because everybody has biases. What you choose to report, the analysis that you give it, that's why I always preferred to get my news from a source that was upfront about its biases, okay? I would like to go to opinion journals that were conservative or libertarian or liberal even. I would go to Mother Jones or whatever and say, what are the progressive socialists saying about this? I would like to see the clash of ideas and people who are upfront and honest about what those ideas are, rather than hiding their agenda and opinion, because it eventually comes out. It eventually comes out. You can tell it in what they say about things, what they cover, or you can see it when you've got whistleblowers.
What does or does not violate their terms of service. And so Mikhail Thalen talked about this on the 4th of May, that these contractors say that they choose what is trending. They're known as the news curators, but they come out and they say that they were treated like robots. They were there basically to interact with this algorithm. And so we're sort of starting to see the people training their replacements in these AI operations here. But
because it's important for people to understand that just because it's an algorithm, just because it's a robot that's doing it, doesn't mean that it isn't rigged completely. I mean, they can hard bake that in and make it more obvious than they can with a human who's coming in who will blow the whistle on them. The software isn't going to blow the whistle on this, okay? They can rig it just like they rig elections.
Well, and of course, it's going to start to see that specific topics are continually suppressed. And then so that's how it learns, okay, well, these topics, these websites aren't important, and I should never allow these things to start trending. So it starts to learn from the human who's teaching it don't give any attention to these conservative points of view. So you have news sites such as the Drudge Report, Breitbart, Newsmax, Washington Examiner, and of course Infowars. And so what they were forced to do is, if we had a breaking story come out, they would have to wait until an establishment media source like the New York Times or something reported on it as well, and then they would post it from that establishment site. And they say,
and take their spin.
We'd have to choose the one that had the least amount of bias. But if it's liberal bias, totally fine.
So if somebody take our story, water it down, spin it, misrepresent it, and label it a conspiracy theory, then they would link to that. And of course, you don't have to have something that is AI, that is learning heuristically about this. You can just put a filter in there and say, hey, if it matches these terms or if it matches these websites, spike it.
Right, exactly. And so, Facebook does have a political agenda, as we can see there, even with that poll that they took, should they stop a Trump campaign? But one of the things that they say that the curators didn't ever suppress anything that had Facebook. If the news was about Facebook, they wouldn't. So they said that they were censoring content that was undermining Zuckerberg's immigration agenda. They said that was just an error. We didn't mean to suppress that. So what was happening, obviously, he was very much behind immigration with the whole Muslim thing, the H-1B worker visas. And so a lot of people were trying to post stories and studies using government data job reports showing how mass migration has impacted the U.S. labor market, things that were very contradictory and made the whole political agenda that he was pushing look bad. Those were suppressed, but it was an error, right? And so this is how you can see how it can sway an election or get a lot of young people or even people in the community thinking that, oh, well, all of my friends are really behind this topic because it's trending, so maybe I should also think like this and do that, or maybe I shouldn't speak out about how I feel or what I'm really passionate about because it's not what's trending or it's not what all of my friends are into, so it's
Right.
They're completely controlling the narrative.
Well, of course, in the past, you used to have the 3 major networks, and they would determine the news, and they would basically essentially all cover the same stories, give you the same angle on that. Now, as things begin to open up, we have to have a way for the establishment to take back the narrative. And of course, putting this out there and saying, oh, we're going to let all of you organically share the articles that you think are interesting. You can like these things and put them out there, and you're just going to find out, it's just going to bubble up to the top. Well, that has happened to some degree in the past. They're going to shut that down, take it over. That's going to be the facade, but they will, if they can confine everybody to Facebook and Google and a couple of other points of control, then they can control the narrative again, just like they did when they had just 3 networks giving everybody the news.
Right. And that's what we have now. Regulators in Washington, of course, are really afraid of the new media, arguing that it's too powerful. So they want to put out these new regulations. But of course, Facebook doesn't fall under the new media because it's gotten in line with the globalist agenda. But they see that these dissonant voices out there can speak out and have a lot of powerful influence. But it's really dangerous because people don't understand how much the conservative viewpoint, even though the majority of Americans are conservative, it's so suppressed that they start to believe that this is actually how the world is thinking, and it's not reality. So you see all these kids in school who are trying to silence any conservative speakers from coming in. It's like, I think 6 to 1 as far as liberal people who will come speak at your school versus conservatives. And now it's getting to the point where campus protesters are barring the door and setting off the fire alarm and doing everything they can to stop any conservative voices from even going on their campus. So
well, because I would say that Zuckerberg is
everywhere.
not even conservative, he's globalist.
Right.
He's made it very clear. He's drawn very clearly the lines between globalism and nationalism, between the multinational corporations first or America first. And what he does is, the way he fights that war is to label everything that he's opposed to as racist,
Right.
or anti-woman or whatever. They've got all their little pigeonholes that they put everybody into. They essentially amount to ad hominem attacks on individuals or on groups.
Right. Well, it definitely seems to be finally backfiring because the curtain has been peeled back and people can see that they're using racism or whatever as this tool to silence and oppress people. And it's,
Well, we're going to take a break, a real quick break, and then we're going to be back with Darren McBreen and Joe Biggs, and they're going to show us what this looks like physically in the world. They went to a Trump rally this weekend in Oregon, and they're going to show us and tell us what they saw there. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
lot of people ask me what is the most important area of Infowars that runs the whole operation that is having such a big effect against the globalists. And I've said it over and over again, it is you, the listeners and the viewers, that send us the intel, the news tips, that support the broadcast, that spread the word. You are 90% of the operation or more. You don't stand beside us, you stand at the heart of Infowars. When I talk about the people at Infowars, from customer service, the shipping department, being just as important as our anchors, our researchers, our investigative journalists, and myself, it's absolutely true. Without this team that we've built over the last 20 plus years, we wouldn't be able to do any of what we've been doing. And that's what's so exciting, because we finally built up to a point where we now have the launch pad. Introducing AutoShip for InfoWarsLife.com, a new way to save time and money when you stock up on InfoWarsStore.com products. Again, ladies and gentlemen, when products are sold out, you're unable to get them, sometimes for months, but we hold back the products for people that have already signed up for AutoShip. When you choose AutoShip before checkout on your order at InfoWarsStore.com, we'll give you 10% off and give you guaranteed delivery of out-of-stock products that are on your AutoShip list. Plus, we're giving you free shipping on all orders above $50. Listeners have been requesting this for years because it's so easy to forget to reorder the products when you need them each month. Now it's finally here. AutoShip at InfoWarsStore.com and InfoWarsLife.com. It's easy. Go to InfoWarsStore.com, select your favorite product, click on the AutoShip, and choose how often you want us to send you another order. As you know, I coined the term 360 win, and with the new AutoShip feature at InfoWarsLife.com, it's a sure win. You add to that free shipping on orders of $50, it is a can't lose. Visit InfoWarsStore.com and save 10% off on your next InfoWars Life order by selecting AutoShip at checkout, and get free shipping on all orders above $50. That's InfoWarsStore.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139.